Welcome to Course 4, Foundation, Certified Supply Chain Professional, CSCP, course, by SPAO Academy. Topic 3, Sourcing Products and Services, Section 10, Ethical and Sustainable Sourcing, Lesson 3, ESG Compliance in Procurement. ESG Compliance in Procurement. In the previous lessons, we discussed what ethical and sustainable sourcing mean. But how do companies ensure that their suppliers are actually following through on these promises? They cannot simply take a supplier's word for it. This is where ESG compliance comes in. ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance. It provides a measurable framework to evaluate whether a supplier is operating responsibly. For a beginner student, think of ESG as the rulebook or scorecard that procurement professionals use to vet and manage suppliers. 1. What is ESG? ESG breaks down into 3 specific pillars. When a procurement team assesses a supplier, they look at these 3 areas. Environmental, E. This focuses on the planet. It asks, how does this supplier impact the natural world? Carbon footprint. How much greenhouse gas do they emit? Waste management. Do they recycle? Do they send waste to landfills? Resource usage. Do they conserve water and energy? Biodiversity. Do their operations harm forests or endangered species? Social, S. This focuses on people. It asks, how does this supplier treat human beings? Labor rights. Are workers paid fairly? Are they allowed to unionize? Is child labor or forced labor present? Health and safety. Are the factories or warehouses safe? Do workers have access to protective equipment? Diversity and inclusion. Does the supplier have a diverse workforce and inclusive leadership? Community impact. Does the supplier contribute positively to the local community? Governance, G. This focuses on management. It asks, how is the company run? Is it honest and transparent? Ethics. Does the supplier have anti-corruption policies? Do they pay bribes to win contracts? Transparency. Are they open about their supply chain? Do they allow audits? Leadership. Is the board of directors diverse? Are executive salaries fair? Compliance. Do they follow local and international laws? 2. Why ESG compliance matters in procurement. For a beginner, it might seem like ESG is just extra work for the purchasing department. However, ignoring ESG can lead to severe consequences. Reputational risk. If a news outlet discovers that a popular clothing brand uses factories with child labor, consumers will boycott the brand. The procurement team is responsible for preventing this. Legal risk. Governments are passing laws, such as the German Supply Chain Act or Modern Slavery Acts in the UK, Australia, that fine companies for human rights violations in their supply chains. Supply chain resilience. Suppliers with poor governance, e.g., financial corruption, or poor social practices, e.g., high worker turnover, are unstable. They are more likely to go out of business or fail to deliver on time. Investor pressure. Banks and investors often refuse to fund companies that score poorly on ESG metrics. 3. How procurement enforces ESG compliance. How do buyers actually enforce these standards? They use a mix of vetting, contractual requirements, and ongoing monitoring. A. Supplier Code of Conduct. Before a supplier is hired, the buyer sends them a Supplier Code of Conduct. This is a document that outlines the minimum ESG standards the supplier must agree to. It typically states, if you want to do business with us, you must not use child labor, you must meet safety standards, and you must report your carbon emissions. B. Audits. An audit is an official inspection of a supplier's facility. First-party audits. The buyer's own team visits the factory. Second-party audits. The buyer hires a third-party firm, like SGS or Bureau Veritas, to visit the factory. Third-party certifications. The supplier pays for a recognized certification, like SA 8000 for social responsibility or ISO 14001 for environmental management, to prove they meet global standards. C. Key performance indicators, KPIs. Procurement teams set specific targets. For example, 100% of strategic suppliers must have a carbon reduction target by 2025. Zero tolerance for health and safety violations. D. Technology and data. Modern procurement uses software to track ESG data. Suppliers input their carbon emissions, diversity statistics, and audit scores into a portal. If a supplier's score falls below a certain threshold, they are flagged as high risk. 4. Challenges for beginners to understand. While ESG compliance is the goal, it is not always easy to achieve. Here are common obstacles. Tier 2 and 3 suppliers. A company usually buys directly from a Tier 1 supplier, e.g., a car manufacturer buys seats from a seat company. However, the seat company buys leather from a Tier 2 supplier, who buys chemicals from a Tier 3 supplier. It is very difficult to enforce ESG compliance that far down the chain. Cost. Sustainable materials and ethical factories often cost more. Procurement must balance ESG goals with the need to keep product costs low. Greenwashing. Some suppliers lie about their ESG performance to win contracts. They might hang a green flag outside their factory, but inside, they are polluting. Procurement professionals must learn to spot this through audits and data verification. Summary. For the beginner student, ESG compliance in procurement is the process of ensuring that the suppliers a company buys from meet specific standards regarding the environment, social justice, and corporate honesty. It moves procurement from being solely a cost-cutting department to a risk management and value protection department. By using codes of conduct, audits, and KPIs, procurement professionals act as the guardians of the company's reputation and legal standing. I really appreciate you spending your time with me today. If you want to learn more, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Your like means the world to us and helps this channel grow so we can continue bringing you great content. Thanks again, and see you on the next video.